Hey everyone, it's Brenda Meller bringing you back for another slice of social media pie, and I'm very excited because today I have a very special VIP guest, Christopher Johnson, joining me here today. Hey Christopher, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Brenda, how about you?
I am doing great. We have had such fun. We were kind of doing our before the show fun banter, and we got some surprises for you guys here today. It's going to be so much fun on the show. I'm so excited. This is going to be fun, Christopher.
Absolutely.
So before we kind of jump in and get the conversation going, we're going to be talking about, let's see if I can flip it up on screen for those of you who are watching. So we're going to be having a really fun conversation about realizing your unlimited possibilities here today, guys. And before we jump into that conversation, I want to talk a little bit about our backstory and how Christopher and I kind of met each other. While I'm doing that, do you guys see the ticker that's running below? Could you do me a favor? Just go below and just leave a comment and let us know like where in the world you're watching from, where in the household you're watching from. Tell me like what the weather's like. Just say something. Put something in comments if you can. This helps me to know that the stream is actually live on LinkedIn. It's out on Facebook. It's on YouTube, wherever you're watching from. As a and I'm a one-man show producer, Christopher, but you realize, my friend, the value of producing and behind the scenes too, right?
I do. It takes a team.
Yeah. So we're gonna work together on this part here today. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about our backstory, how we know each other, and then I'll have you introduce yourself. So you and I in my mind, I was thinking we met through TEDx Detroit, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, was it through Toastmasters? Do you remember where it was that we met? Do you remember that?
I do. It was indeed through Toastmasters, maybe 2009, 2010, so a decade or so ago.
Wow, that is a decade. And was it a conference? Was it
It was a contest?
Okay, contest. Where was it at? Do you remember that?
Not a clue.
No. Were you competing? Was I competing? Do you remember?
You were competing and I was the MC.
Ah, you've got a good memory. I find like my memory is just, downhill at this point, guys. It's just not there as much as it used to be, but that's good memory. Well, I think it's the parenting. It's like the lack of sleep. I strongly believe it kills brain cells, and some of those memory brain cells never come back. I wouldn't trade it for the world because I love my kids. But that's why God makes them cute, right? So we don't worry about these brain cells and everything we lose. But I've always had a fond knowledge of you, I guess, a friendly knowledge of you, I should say, because we've crossed paths in different areas of our lives through Toastmasters, through some of your work that you've done with TEDx Detroit. Now we actually are part of an accountability lab that meets at 6:30 in the morning. Jan Griffiths, I'm not sure if she's watching. I'll check in a second here. But we keep crossing paths, and you're just one of the types of people that I like to surround myself. Very positive person, very positive energy. So that's a little bit of my setup. Christopher, what I'd like to do now is turn the floor to you. If you could take a few minutes, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll jump into our conversation today.
Absolutely. So who I am a strategic IT leader. I help companies manage their IT by implementing projects and educating users and all the fun stuff that's associated with IT. Now, all that starts back in college with me being the longer version of the story. My original major in college at University of Detroit, go Titans, architecture.
Architecture. I would have never guessed that. That is surprising.
Architecture is really interesting at the college level. Design a building that meets these specifications. Okay. I didn't have the imagination for architecture. So when I saw design a building that meets these specifications, I drew a box. Now, it met every criteria. But the teacher said, wow, that's kind of a boring design. I'll give you a C. Like, but I met specifications. Yeah, no. So I wanted something a bit more concrete. Tossed a dart, it landed on computer science.
Really? So I kind of feel like you've had a knack for computers all along. Is that not true?
In the time you've known me, absolutely.
Okay.
So, but back in college, it was new to me. And I took to it like a duck to water. It came easily.
Okay.
Pretty soon, I had taken every computer course the college offered.
Wow.
I worked in the computer lab, helping other people with their computer programs.
There he is, yeah.
I started tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
And that quickly led to full-time work in the computer field.
Okay.
Because there was a shortage of people who were comfortable with technology. So I sort of put the degree on the back burner and worked full-time in the field. When I finally decided to finish my degree, and hey, I thought it was important. Both my teachers are parents, so yeah, they thought it was important too. I thought, what's the most fun thing I could get a degree in? Radio.
Yes. Does he not have the voice for radio? Are you guys like listening right now and going, he sounds like he's got a voice for radio? Like, can you just like picture that, right? So did you work in radio at some point?
I did. After going to the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts.
Shout out there.
It's a fabulous school. I worked at WPHM in Port Huron. I worked there weekends while still keeping my IT job Monday through Friday. So it was a 1-hour drive, 2 days a week, and I loved it. Then I interned at WDET in Detroit.
Did you really?
I
didn't know that. Yeah, that's awesome.
In the news department, reporting to Jerome Vaughn and King Zola.
Okay.
So that was, finally finished up my degree. And as soon as I finished my degree, I'm still working in the IT field, but I'm doing more and more things with business. And I thought, I should really go get an MBA. So I did.
Where'd you go for that?
The Mike Ilitch School of Business at Wayne State University.
Wayne State, wonderful, great. Was it the new school or was it the old School of Business? Was it in the new building, the one they just created?
It was not in the new building. So this was in Prentice on the main campus downtown.
Okay.
However, I'm involved with the alumni board for Wayne State School of Business, and we hold our meetings. Back when we could go to meetings in person, we held our meetings in the new building, and it is fabulous.
That's great. So you're on the board for the Wayne State Alumni School of Business, did I hear you say?
Indeed, I am, yes.
Is that on your LinkedIn profile, Christopher?
Yes, it is.
Is it in your experience section?
It's under volunteer.
So if I were you, I'm going to give you a little bonus tip here. If I were you, keep it in the volunteer section because it's nice that it belongs there because you are a volunteer, but put it in your experience section as well. When you serve on a board, especially a prominent organization like Wayne State, the School of Business, which is well known here in Metro Detroit, it does two things. First of all, I heard this from someone at LinkedIn that said, put your board experience in your experience section, because as a board member, you are both giving experience pro bono, right? Because you're serving in a volunteer capacity, and you are gaining experience. So it really does fit in the experience category. It fits in volunteer as well, because you're donating your time and your energy and your talents, but by putting it in your experience section, because that was something new. When you talked about that just now, I wasn't aware of it, and I look at your LinkedIn profile and I hadn't seen it on there. So a little bit of a bonus tip for you there.
Thank you.
There you go. So let's jump into this conversation here now. And I've been putting your guys' comments on screen. We've got a lot of fans of the Christopher Johnson fan club here today. Some folks from their accountability lab. I saw Jan. I think I saw Joy in here. And I'm kind of rolling through the comments on here. But today we are going to be talking about, get ready for this, guys. We're going to be talking about realizing your unlimited possibilities. And Christopher, when I booked you, I said we can talk about anything you want. Pick a topic. And this is the topic you gave me.
Wait, I came up with this?
Yeah, this was yours, my friend. This was it. I was like, this is going to be so much fun. So let's start jumping into this conversation here. And why is it important that we think about realizing our possibilities? Why is that important for us?
Because many of the things that hold us back are theoretical or imaginary. So for instance, all right, when we met, again, that was a decade or a little bit more ago, and 100 pounds ago, roughly. So, yeah.
Now you got to clarify what that means. 100 pounds. What does that mean? 100 pounds ago? Because some people don't know you and they don't know me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about 350 pounds.
Wow.
So, yeah. And you know what? I thought fat was my fate. Yeah. I thought, well, it's just not, some people are whatever they are. Mm-hmm. And I'd had an argument with my physician for years because, hey, yes, I go and get an annual physical, as everyone should. Yeah. And he would say, well, you need to lose at least 100 pounds. And to me, that just sounded like a really big, scary number.
That's like a person. That's a whole person right there. Is. You know?
And it was intimidating. And I thought, all right, look, my blood pressure is perfect. It is exactly what the textbook should say. Mm-hmm. My cholesterol, okay, it is perfect. Or it was incredibly low. I barely broke 100.
Okay.
And it's like, all right. And he broke it down to me in a way that really made me understand. He said, all right, statistically, because you like stats and math, your risk of death is greater with these things. So having nothing to do with your blood pressure or cholesterol, oh, well, that changes it.
Yeah.
And being a parent, I also wanted to get life insurance because I had small children.
Yeah.
One of the things I discovered, they charge a lot if you are not in peak physical condition, a lot.
Yeah, because there's more of a risk there, right?
There is.
That chance kind of goes up a little bit, and there's more cost, right?
It brought home exactly what my doctor was telling me.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, fine. And they gave me a number. They said, all right, if you can just get under 300 pounds, we can give you a break. It's like, okay, I think I can do this.
So now you've got a health incentive, you've got the family, you've got a financial incentive going on your side, right? Mm-hmm.
And they all came together, and I started, initially, all I did was just go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for an hour, 3 days a week.
Okay. That's easy to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the weight started to come off. It's like, okay, this is not hard at all.
So nothing else changed. Diet wasn't changing anything at that point. It was just the walking 3 days a week?
It was just walking 3 days a week.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So, because, being sedentary, you don't realize how sedentary you are until you start moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I hit a plateau about 290, 295.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I'm still walking. Let's change the diet a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Still nothing. So I had to change more. And, initially I thought a calorie is a calorie. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not true.
Yeah.
Where you get the calories from does matter.
So you're telling me that the calories in a slice of pie are not the same as the calories in a bag of carrots? Because that's not.
What kind of pie? No, and yeah, you can suffer malnutrition but still get the right number of calories.
Right.
So
that's true. Mm-hmm.
When I changed my diet, I decided it's like, all right, I would start doing a little bit more at the gym. And then in 2012, I started the Couch to 5K because I thought, all right, let's try running. Mm-hmm. And I would go to the gym, and I had my spreadsheet. Here's what you're supposed to do today to this Couch to 5K program.
Okay. I
liked the treadmill. All right, I am the only person who liked the treadmill. 2020 feels like it's been, 5, 10, 15 years?
It has been. It feels like it at least.
Exactly. And that's treadmill time.
Yeah.
1 minute on the treadmill? Wait a second. It's only been a minute. Yeah. So
it feels like a long time.
It feels like a long time.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the treadmill, and I did the Couch to 5K, did a race, and it was okay. And so I would go to a race only on race day. The rest of the time, I would just run on the treadmill.
Okay, that's good. It's funny though, because now that I know you, I kind of think about, I vaguely remember Christopher from years past, but now I only think of you, honestly, I only think of you in the associations I have. TEDx Detroit, and I see you're wearing your shirt. I also know you as a runner. Like, that's what I know you as. If you hadn't reminded me that you weren't a runner, I would have thought you were racing in high school and you were a long distance marathon. I would have thought all along that you were a runner, because that's who I know. That's like ingrained in your personality for me. That's what I know of you.
And that's what, I changed my mindset. All right. I believe in a growth mindset. Hey, if I don't know it, I can learn it. I had not been embodying that in how I had been treating my health. I thought, it's like, no, there's nothing I can do about it. But becoming physically active showed me that, I can be a physically active person. And in 2013, I did the Brooksea Way half marathon.
So what's a half marathon? How many miles is that? How long is that?
13.1.
Wow.
And it was intimidating. So I joined a group.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun. That showed me that running outside with people is a lot of fun.
It's a community. I love the community of the running community, right? Yeah.
And that is like, oh, wait a second. Later for the treadmill, let's run outside with friends.
So let me ask you a question for people that are watching, because there may be people watching who are like, I can never be a runner. I can never run a 5K or a half marathon. What age were you when you started running, when you started this?
48.
See, that's crazy, because I think I tried running in high school. I was never good. And then I got older and I did cheerleading and stuff in high school too. And my knees are bothering me. And I worry about the impact that running has on my knees. And I worry about starting, because I'm 46. I'm not young anymore either. And I worry about starting at this age to start running and what that's going to do to my body in a negative way. But it sounds like in your case, you didn't even start running until you were 48.
Exactly.
And you've been doing this now, and I feel like you epitomize what a runner is. That this is your personality, your lifestyle. You've really incorporated that well.
It's changing my mindset to that of an active individual.
Yeah.
It reframed everything. So after that first half marathon, there've been another, I don't know, pretty much 24, and one and only one marathon.
Yeah.
Marathons are a lot of work. Detroit Free Press, 2017.
Okay, a couple of years ago. Yeah. Okay. And do you do the mini races? Like, I know there's a turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day. Do you do some of those other races too?
So the turkey trot was, I ran it twice.
Okay.
But for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been at the finish line handing out medals to the runners.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's so cool.
It is one of the most fun things. If you're not going to run the race, handing out medals to the runners, it's a beautiful thing.
That's like being a parent on Christmas morning and watching your kids open the presents, right? All the joy.
It is. And seeing the families take part in that tradition was just great.
Yeah.
And whether they're walking or running the mashed potato mile or the 10K or the 5K, they all go down, they participate. One of the things about runners, runners give sweaty hugs. I'm just going to put that out there. They do.
I'm going to put that on the screen right now.
And so when you're handing out medals, some people, can I hug you? It's like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, sure. Runners give out sweaty hugs.
So this has got to be like on a bumper sticker or something, you guys. If this doesn't exist yet, if there's somebody watching right now, this could be it. This could be like a sticker you put on your car or that you hand out at the finish line, right? Runners give sweaty hugs. This is great.
They do. You know what? I mean, running is an emotional thing. The crossing the finish line at the marathon was a priceless moment.
Yeah.
So, and I knew the person who handed me my medal, and that made it that much more special.
That's
so,
nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So if you guys are just joining us here today, we're actually having a great conversation with Christopher Johnson, and we're talking about realizing your unlimited possibilities. And Christopher's walking us through the story about how he became a runner and, starting a little bit later in life to become a runner, but he's now running marathons and marathons. I used an S on that. Was that correct? Or was there just one so far?
One and done.
But half marathon would be a second version of that. So technically you have run marathons with an S, right?
Technically, that is correct.
All right, awesome. So let's continue on this journey here. You're telling us a little bit about running, and there might be other people watching that saw this title and they said, that sounds like it's going to be an inspirational talk. What other advice would you offer for folks that are listening in?
Get out of your head and try something new. Our comfort zones should expand every year that we're out here on Earth. All right, a few years ago, a common pal of ours, Terry Bean, we were having a TEDx Detroit meeting at his home. And like many homes in Michigan, he lives on a lake. The dock connecting his boat to his yard seemed like it was this big, and I, being terrified of water, treated it like a tightrope. This was hilarious. Hilarious. There was a gap between the dock and the boat of maybe 2 inches. Despite the weight loss, there was no chance of me slipping into a 2-inch
right.
And that wasn't going to happen. But the fear was like, oh, that's a possibility. I told that to a friend of mine, and instead of saying, wow, that's a funny story, she had the opposite reaction. She said, you should sign up for a try. It's like, excuse me?
So what's a try for people that are watching? I think I know what that means, but there may be other people going, oh, what? What is he talking about?
That's kind of where I was. And it is swim, bike, and run. All 3 events, same day, one right after another. And I reiterated, but see, you didn't hear the part of the story where I mentioned I was afraid of the water, and that's the funny part. No, you should sign up for a try. So I did.
Who was this friend? Can I ask? I think I know who it was, but I'm going to.
Oh, sure. Julie Barnes-Mauer.
I thought so. I'm hoping she's watching. We'll jump into audience comments in a couple of minutes. I'm hoping she's watching. If not, we'll make sure we send her the playback later. Because did she become your coach at that point? Because I see you guys doing a lot of racing and practicing together.
All right. So the story of the try. Yes, I got outside of my comfort zone. I put on a wetsuit. I got into the water and I swam straight into a buoy.
But you didn't sink, you did swim, because that would be my greatest fear. Like I would be like getting in the water and I'd be like drowning right away. But you did into the buoy, right? So that's good.
Yes. And then I said, okay, that's enough of this. So I got out of the water and waited for a couple of friends. And then I completed the rest of the try.
That's great.
But here's the thing. I still wanted to conquer my fear of water, swimming.
Yeah.
And so I signed up for lessons at the Y. It's like, okay, great. One of the best things that came out of 2020 so far for me is getting out of that fear. And Julie got me swimming in open water.
That's great.
So here's the thing. This has no basis in reality or fact. I was looking for freshwater sharks in the Detroit River.
In the Detroit River. Has there ever been a shark in the Detroit River?
No. I thought Jason or Michael Myers might be there waiting to drag me down. I did not see either of them. I did not see any bodies other than swimmers in the Detroit River.
Live swimmers, we have to say.
live swimmers.
So this is like, and we're talking about realizing your unlimited. You were thinking about a possibility that really wasn't a possibility.
Yeah, it's like, no.
It was, but it was only up in here because it wasn't in the water. There's no
there was no.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear causes a powerful illusion and lack of reasoning. So moving past fear into accomplishment. So an accomplishment this summer was swimming point to point, pretty much nonstop, where I could not stand up. And it's like, all right, yeah, I can do this. Swimming is one of my favorite activities now because, you know what? On the water, you can just relax and float. And if you relax, then you float. Mm-hmm. If you are tense, you sink.
Interesting. So was this something you learned from the Y, like the classes that you took, or where did you learn the skill of swimming?
Yes, and. Okay. All right. So I took lessons at the Y, and then, at the Y, there's a wall right there.
Yeah.
There's a rope on the other side that you can just grab onto when you feel panic. Mm-hmm. There's none of that in open water.
Mm-mm. That's true.
But speaking of yes and, I did go to Second City, Detroit for a year. So that's, again, outside my comfort zone. And what that did, it helps me in listening. Because to be a good scene partner, you have to pay attention to what everyone else is saying, what's going on, to see where you can contribute. Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant. And I feel like the Second City is another part of you I feel like has always been a part of you, like the Christopher I know today. And you're like, no, that was something I just did a couple of years ago. But you have this amazing, and you guys that are watching, you're probably like, whenever I listen to Christopher and we have our morning phone calls, like I was saying, the 6:30 group, we're just mesmerized by his voice, this calmness that comes out. But then every now and again, there's some humor that will come out of it that is just so perfectly timed. And it pulls from different thoughts in the conversation. So I feel like it's probably pulling upon the training that you took, right, Christopher, from Second City?
Absolutely. I mean, it's listening and paying attention and being ready to support anyone that you're in a scene with. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's that awareness, and it's probably a little bit of that. I'm guessing you're an introvert, right?
I am.
Yeah, and I know that because like we as introverts, there's something that draws introverts to each other, and I feel like when I'm around other introverts, my energy expands. When I'm around somebody who's an extrovert, I like being around them, but I feel like when I'm done being around them, I want to like take a break from not talking to anybody, whereas like being around, I think, other introverts energizes me. Do you agree with that?
Completely. Mm-hmm. It's one of those relaxing after a party. So if I go to a party, and there are a lot of, back when people could party.
Right, in person, right?
In person. If the party was an hour, I needed at least an hour to just be alone after that and recharge.
Yeah. Same.
It's just
a quiet space. So I feel like we could continue this conversation for hours and hours, but I do want to get our audience involved in the conversation here today. So we're talking about realizing your unlimited possibilities, but we've thrown a lot of topics at you guys here today and a lot of thoughts. So I want to invite our audience, I was going to say incorporate, but I want to invite our audience to incorporate their thoughts in the conversation. There we go. I got us back there. And we're going to move into some audience Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for Christopher, if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to throw them in the chat, rather comment below to this, and then we will pull you up on screen. And I see several. I'm going to give you a couple shout outs right now to our Accountability Lab partners. We've got Carolyn. Now, Carolyn, you've not been on the lab for a few days. I'm expecting, because you were on the show today, you're going to be on tomorrow morning at 6:30. So a little bit of I'm going to put some guilt out there for you, Carolyn, and encourage you to come on tomorrow morning. And I did see the one, the only, Joy Graydon is joining us too. Joy's watching us on YouTube. And then I think I saw Jan's name. Let me see if I can pull her out of here as well. A lot of folks, like I said, Christopher, you got a lot of people watching here today. A lot of people watching, a lot of names coming through here. So let me see if I can find, I know I saw Jan. She may have left the session. I can't find. But Jan, I saw your name in here. Oh, here's Shauna. Shauna's on with us. Shauna's on as well. So thank you for watching us, Shauna. I don't see Jan's name. I know I saw it at one point and it's gone away. So what I want to do, again, I'm going to open this up to Q&A and just ask if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask Christopher to throw them in the chat. And first question actually is from Shauna. So Christopher, what unlimited possibilities are you pursuing right now?
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz. All right. I happened to be listening last night to the Art of Manliness podcast.
Okay.
And they had a guest on, and the guest was talking about, it was gold medal bodies.
Yeah.
And it is functional fitness. One of my goals for 2021 is to do a handstand.
Wow. So yoga handstand, that kind of stuff?
That kind of stuff, yeah.
Gymnastics? Like, what are we talking here?
Well, he made a connection between like doing a cartwheel, so you can always fall out of a handstand correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And doing a handstand. And the functional is, we do a lot of different movements and we go to the gym and do a lot of different things, but we're missing some of the functional part of the fitness. So one of the things he talked about is walking like a bear across the floor or the lawn.
Yeah.
Then walking like a frog.
Okay.
And those exercises use different muscles. And so you have a different sense of soreness, but they also enhance range of motion.
Okay.
So I'm more concerned about range of motion these days than whether I can bench press a Buick. Right? I don't want to bench press a Buick.
Yeah. But it's more maintaining that flexibility and keeping your joints active and healthy until we are the ripe old age of whatever it is that we wish to get to in our lives, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Now, if I need to bench press a Buick to, intimidate someone trying to date one of my children, sure, that's fine.
See, you guys, what I was talking about, the humor, right? Just when you think it's getting serious, he'll like jump in with that humor and improvise there.
Oh, that was serious.
I don't doubt it for a second. Okay, so Jan, I found you. Yay, Jan is here. Jan is in the house. So I want to give a huge plug for Jan right now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually heard about the group from Shauna, the 6:30 group. I'm like, who are these people meeting at 6:30 in the morning? I'm like, I'll come check it out. And that was weeks and weeks ago, and I am hooked. If you guys are interested in the accountability lab, we do support each other. We are huge advocates of one another. And you can actually join by going to the Gravitas Detroit website. I'm putting the page address up on screen. I hope you don't mind, Christopher, me going sideways here in the conversation. But since Jan put it on there, I want to invite you guys to check it out. I think the group, you can't join the 6:30 group anymore. You can only join the 7 o'clock group now. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. Let's see. I did have a comment from Joy, Joy has taught us, Christopher, that lying on a yoga mat is actually doing yoga. So if you do no other physical activity for the day, but you actually lay flat on a yoga, that is considered meditation, I think is what she was saying. But it's like decompressing your spine when you just lay on a yoga mat, right?
Corpse pose.
Yeah. So
and see, exactly, this is exactly what I was talking about. Facing your fears, expanding your comfort zone. This is something we should do all of our lives. And if we demonstrate this to our children or to people younger than us, then they have that example to fall back on.
That's a great point. Very good point. And Diane was actually in our group this morning too. I think I saw Diane. Her name isn't showing up, but it's saying hi from Diane. And she was saying there's a group that's doing Pilates, I think is at noon today.
It is.
And I'm like, I'm going to sign up for that. So she sent us the link and I'm going to check that out. But it's just like, it's getting started. It's part of the process. And I did see a question from someone. I want to see if I can find it again. I'm kind of scrolling up and down in the list here. And someone had asked about, when you are getting started with that process of getting out of your comfort zone. Here it is. It's a question from Nikki. Hey, Nikki, thanks for watching. Getting out of your comfort zone. Christopher, do you suggest starting small or going all in?
Yes. I suggest starting.
Yes, to all of the above.
I mean, all right, sometimes it is easier to just jump right in. Other times it takes a while. All right, so learning how to swim as an adult, the hardest thing I have done in life. Yeah. Harder than a marathon because of the fear component. In a marathon, anytime you want to stop and walk, you can. It's like, you know what? I'm a mile in. I'm going to walk the rest of this 25 miles. Okay. Swimming. You know what? I am done.
Not an option when you're in the middle of the Detroit River, right?
No. Oh, and yeah. It's not an option. So overcoming the fear, but getting started is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But right up there with that is the support and encouragement of family.
Yeah.
So throughout all of these endeavors, my wife has been there cheering me on.
Yeah.
And, it's like.
Well, that's important to have a partner who supports you. Because
absolutely.
if you had, if your spouse was sitting on the couch eating the chips and saying, man, these chips are really good. You want to watch TV with me and have some chips? You might be inclined to sit back and watch TV and grab some ranch dip while you're at it before you sit down. But if you have somebody who is supportive, and I loved your point too, Christopher, of if you are active around your children, demonstrating fitness, like making it a part of your lifestyle, that's more going to be something that they're encouraged to do as they get older as well, right? Incorporating in the lifestyle. Yeah. I want to actually, G. Hannah saying, what a cool thing about accountability group. I have to look to see if there's anything. Hey, G, you want to know what? It's virtual. We don't meet in person. Like literally we roll out of bed and no hair, no makeup. And I remember, Christopher, when you first came into the group, there was some other people in the group that I knew that were there that I didn't know. And then you came into the group in the morning. I'm like, oh gosh, there's a guy in the group, because it was mostly women at that point. And we were all like, no hair, no makeup. And I'm like, now I need to make sure I'm at least like wiping the mascara globs underneath my eyes before I come on the call in the morning. But it quickly becomes almost like family in the group. We don't even really think about what we are looking like on camera. It's private. It's in a private Zoom, G. But if you want to join, if you want to come and check it out, I think, Jan, people can check it out for free, if I'm not mistaken. If you could comment and add into that. But I want to go into, I think it was Joy or somebody else who said, and I want to just kind of pull this point up, because I know you've done some voiceover work. Haven't you, Christopher? Are you working on something?
have.
Tell us a little bit about that as I'm trying to find this comment, and then I'll pull it up on screen. So tell us a little bit about the voiceover work that you've done.
All right. So going back to my undergrad days, radio is just one of the most fun things there is. Yeah. And making audio commercials or things of that nature is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So currently I have my audio samples up on the Audible site where I audition for audiobooks.
Okay. And how could we find that if we visited you on LinkedIn? Have you posted it on LinkedIn?
Not yet, but I will. Okay. And I did post on Fiverr. They have a whole voiceover community there. Okay. And so you can have people do whatever, vocally for a small fee. Yeah. So I put that up there because it is fun, and hey, you never know what someone is going to need vocally. Right. All right. Live radio.
Christopher is your own life narrator. There it is, right there, Christopher. You could narrate the audio biography of Brenda Meller or Shauna Ramsey or Joy Graydon or, Jan Griffiths, right? You could be the life narrator.
Absolutely. In a world.
Wait, hold that thought. Because remember in the pre-show how we said we were going to try something during the show here today? Remember?
Yeah.
The green room. Okay, ready? We're going to try this, guys. Okay, ready? So, the social media pie series is growing in popularity. And I want to remind you guys that we actually have a green room for my guests. When my guests come in, they get to hang out in a green room. And what do they get to enjoy while they're there?
Guest of the social media pie will enjoy the finest in the coffee And the selection is whatever you happen to have in the cabinet. Now, there is tea available, but only if you have a proper kettle. Microwave water is not acceptable and will be shamed.
That's perfect. There's a whole backstory there that goes with the lab. I did not know that it was not acceptable to boil water in the microwave if you're drinking tea. I thought that was perfectly okay, but Jan has taught us. Wasn't that awesome? Didn't you guys love the voiceover just now? Like, that was not rehearsed, other than Christopher and I said, we're going to do this sometime during the show here today. But he was joking because I said at the end of the show, after we go off of live, I tell my guests, I say, stay here in the StreamYard because we're going to be in the green room and then we can chat for a few minutes. And he's like, and are there refreshments in the green room? I said, yeah, didn't you get the bowl of purple M&Ms I left there next to you? Like, there's a piece of pie, there's M&Ms, there's water. And we started joking about the fact that, we are in our own homes creating the green room. And I said, I'm going to whip up a graphic and then let's do this. Let's do improv on air today, right? So we had some fun with that.
Who could say no to improv?
Awesome. Well, I think we're starting to get towards the end of our time here today, Christopher, and I do want to give you the opportunity to offer any final comments. We're here talking about realizing your unlimited possibilities, but any final comments, thoughts for the group here today as we start to wrap our conversation?
Look at where your comfort zone is. Look at those borders and edges and think about how you can expand them. For some people, hey, talking in front of people is a challenge. Talking on stage is a challenge. For me, it was other things, learning how to swim. But adapting to that expanded my comfort zone and opened up a whole new world. So think about how you can open up. Adapt that growth mindset, not just to what you can learn, but how you can expand your comfort zone and grow. And the catchphrase, runners give sweaty hugs, will be available on t-shirts and bumper stickers just in time for the holiday giving.
Couldn't you just imagine it like the TEDx hoodie that you're wearing right now? Runners give sweaty hugs. And I mean, just a person coming towards you, giving that sweaty hug at the end of a race. I think that's absolutely brilliant. There's a marketing idea right there, Christopher. I think you got to get that copyright license to get it on your website, right?
That's going to be my homework after this, yes.
There you go. All right, so I pulled up your LinkedIn profile up on screen for folks here, Christopher. And I want to point out something. You have next to your name field, you have that little voice, what is it called? The name pronunciation that's set on your profile. Now, what does it say when we click on that? Do you know?
My name.
Is it just straightforward, your name? Now, you said it like you were disappointed in yourself.
Well, okay. Because going back to the trauma of architecture, design a building that's a box. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I put my name there because I thought that's what it was for. And then I encounter all of these people. Well, you know what? I used all 10 of those seconds to sell this product, service, or ability. It's like, I hadn't thought about that.
Kind of brilliant. So you could do a instead of calling it the name pronunciation box, call it the you can talk about anything you want for 10 seconds box. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think most people are going to go on this name and say, is it Christopher? I don't think anybody's going to have that issue. Or Johnson is pretty straightforward. I don't think you can really have a mispronunciation of that. Maybe you do, but you could say, hey, this is Christopher Johnson, and then talk for 9.5 seconds about something else.
Absolutely.
Right? In that segment. So that'll be a challenge for you there. And I see that you've got your TEDx Detroit. We didn't really talk about TEDx. Can you remind people I know you guys went virtual this year, but what's your role with the TEDx Detroit organization?
My role with TEDx Detroit is backstage producer. So I am the voice that you hear when you attend this event in person. Mm-hmm. And so I've been the voice since 2013. That's
awesome. Very cool. And
it's a fun organization.
A good group. And I know you guys were virtual this year. The plans are that it'll be in person next year. Fingers crossed the world will be back to normal and everything at this point. Now I pulled your LinkedIn profile up for people to encourage you guys to go to Christopher's profile and connect with him, and mention that you saw him on today's show. And Christopher, are you open to receiving new connection requests from folks today?
I am open to receiving new connection requests, and I would encourage them to follow one of Brenda's rules. Personalize the invite.
Just love it. Yep. So just mention you watched him on the show, mention something that resonated with you, that, you know, that we were talking about here today. And as we wrap up here today, Christopher, I just want to thank everyone for watching. We have had such an active community of people in the comments here today. I'm sorry I didn't get through all of you guys. I was really trying to navigate. I wish I had like a backstage crew like Christopher has, because I remember at TEDx, I see you walk, you had like the headset, and there's like probably 10 other people that are running. This is just me. There's nobody behind me running. So trying to get all your comments on screen, but I just want to thank all of you guys for showing the love for Christopher. If you have not already left a comment, I would love it if you could please drop a comment below after you're done watching the video here today. And just let Christopher know if you enjoyed watching him on this show. I've been trying to get him to, I see somebody mentioning the call map. We've been encouraging Christopher to start a podcast, because I think there's something like Christopher just speaking is very therapeutic and calming. And, you know, encourage him, you know, and something he was talking about here today, or, you know, just let him know if there's something that really resonated with you that he talked about. I will share the links with him later on so that he can come back to all of your comments. And I think that's it for us here today, Christopher. Now, what are you doing after we're done with the interview today? What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, after the marketing possibility homework that I have, let's see, this afternoon I do have a voiceover session. So I'm working on an audition, and we'll see how that goes. Additionally, there's probably a nap somewhere in there. It's been a hectic few days.
Yeah.
Now, I have a tip for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Child labor laws don't apply to your own household.
I could, but I don't know that I would trust my 9-year-old nor my 15-year-old to do what I need them to do in the StreamYard. Maybe my 15-year-old, maybe. But he's doing online virtual right now through his high school. So he's technically in classes today. But that's not a bad idea to think about for the future. I like where you're thinking there.
Child labor laws don't apply in the house. Yeah.
Love it. So that's also a nice little bumper sticker right there. Something to think about.
I need to get a bumper sticker company.
Something, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Christopher. I had a delightful time chatting with you here today, and I hope you did as well.
Likewise, yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slice of social media pie. And before you leave, I want to remind you of just a few things. As soon as you're done watching this video, could you do me a favor? Go back on the video if you could. It'll be in my activity feed on LinkedIn if you're watching there. And just click to share the video. Share it with somebody in your network. You can message it to them. You can share it as today's post if you've not yet posted today. Tell people something that you learned by watching the video. You never know then by sharing that message with someone else, when you might help to open up the possibilities for another person by sharing that along with them. So do that if you can. And then if you could also go to mellermarketing.com/subscribe, and you can join my VIP email list where I send out LinkedIn strategy tips and also notifications about upcoming shows like today. All right, Christopher. Well, I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30, and we'll see how we did on our homework for today.
We will knock it out of the park.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone. This is my last social media pie before Thanksgiving. This is my national holiday week. Pie week is all week. It's such an exciting time. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your pie. And we will see you guys next week again on LinkedIn Live. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.